Good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be our recording for our weekly weather briefing here at the National Weather Service in Peachtree City, Atlanta. Today's Thursday, July 9th, and this will be valid for at least the rest of this coming week. All right, so here are some of the highlights for the briefing today. We've got basically a summertime pattern that is set up, especially for here in Georgia. So we've got scattered thunderstorms expected through the weekend and into early next week. These are going to be, as is typical this time of year, mainly during the afternoon and the evening. However, we could see some isolated strong storms with this, and we can't rule out with any of these bigger storms that do go up that we could definitely see some damaging winds. And then we, of course, expect to see the lightning and the heavy rain with these thunderstorms. The other thing we want to point out is that we are monitoring for some increased severe potential that the models are hinting at. Both Saturday night and into Sunday night, we do have some more favorable conditions that do seem to be coming together. So we will touch on that briefly, but it is early still, especially for something like that. So definitely stay tuned to the forecast past just this briefing. The other big story, quote unquote, will be the heat indices, or the quote unquote feels like temperatures. Those are going to be in the upper 90s to the low 100s. Today will be nice, but starting tomorrow, it's really going to ramp up. Friday does look to be the worst day, as I'll show you in a little bit, and then it cools down, and I say that very relatively, Saturday and Sunday, mainly because we just have a little bit less moisture sticking around, but the heat indices will still be up there. The only other thing is we do have tropical development possible off the Atlantic coast in the coming day or two, but given where that is located, we are expecting minimal to almost no impacts to Georgia. All right, so here's your current conditions as of this morning. The current visible satellite. As you can see, we've got a couple of clouds, and there have been some showers that have been associated with that moving through parts of east and east central Georgia. Otherwise, it's pretty nice out there right now. One thing I will point out to you is this nice swirl that you can potentially see off the Atlantic coast. That is our area of potential tropical development that we are watching. It has also been responsible for our very, very wet conditions the past couple of days as it kind of moved from the Gulf out across us and then now has made its way into the Atlantic, where it will have a chance to actually develop into something. All right, so today's max temps and today's rain chances. As I said earlier, it's a nice looking day today. We've got high temps look like they're going to be up into the upper 80s. We might broach 90 in a couple locations. With that though, we do have another afternoon of kind of increased rain chances. We're generally going to be in the 40 to 50% range across most of the state today. So it'll just be another day of your kind of scattered pop-up thunderstorms that, you know, we could see a severe storm or something like that. With those, can't rule that out, but for the most part, most of these should just be your typical garden variety summer afternoon thunderstorms. Moving Friday through Sunday, you can see our rain chances are still up a little bit on Friday, similar to today, 40 to 50%, a little bit higher down in the south, or the southern part of the state, I should say. And as we move into Saturday and Sunday, those rain chances decrease a little bit as we'll have a little bit of moisture departing the area. But as I mentioned before, there will be and the potential for some increased chances of more severe weather with this. So, and we'll take a look at that coming up here in just a little bit. Total rainfall going through Sunday. This graphic, you know, this is our kind of best guess at things. It's always challenging to do a rainfall forecast when we're talking about pop-up thunderstorms, because actually forecasting where these things are going to be in any given day is, of course, its own special nightmare. but this is generally kind of an average amount that you could expect to see in any given location. Obviously, if you end up under one of these heavier thunderstorms, you could certainly get a lot more than this. You know, a thunderstorm that kind of parks over you, even for an hour, could easily give you an inch and a half, 2 inches of rain, given some of the rainfall rates that we've seen out of these. So where you do see storms, do be prepared that you could see heavier rainfall amounts than this. All right, so here are our max temperatures and the maximum heat index, or heat indices, or as I said before, those feels like temperatures, what it's actually going to feel like outside to your body. And as you can see, as we go into Friday, things start to heat up, and we're going to have a lot of moisture that's still sticking around, and that makes our dew points and our relative humidities very high, and in turn, that means you know, when you sweat, it doesn't evaporate, and those that causes those heat indexes to kind of shoot up. And so as you can see, we've got heat indices in the upper 90s and broaching into the hundreds across our area. And as you move into the southeastern and southern part of the state, you've got heat indices that are getting up into the 105 range plus down there. This is very warm. While for us, we don't quite meet any kind of heat advisory criteria, you certainly, if you're planning on doing extended outdoor activities or anything like that, definitely plan to have water and have the ability to take or to get to shade or something like that if you need to, as these are pretty high. We move into Saturday, you can see the heat indices stay pretty much the same. They come down just a little bit, but our max temperatures actually go up. And so our temperatures are going up, but we hopefully start to dry out a little bit in terms of our dew points. So hopefully it won't feel quite as oppressive out there. As we go into Sunday, same thing. It looks very similar to Saturday with our highs in the mid 90s, but our heat indices floating in the upper 90s to 100s once again. All right, so the possible severe weather this weekend, as I've said before, we continue to have basically in the models that we're looking at kind of favorable conditions for some strong to severe storms Saturday and Sunday, but this isn't by any means a slam dunk. The type of pattern that we're going to be in is something that isn't the most predictable, so to speak. And so we definitely will continue to refine this forecast as we move forward, but we wanted to make you guys aware of it. And so the loop you're seeing here is just one of our models, and it's running basically every 6 hours from Saturday night into Sunday night. And so you can see as it gets toward the end of the loop here, right around there, the model does depict what would potentially be a little line of thunderstorms that would be moving through our area. And as I said before, this is not the only model that's depicting this. Some models have it, some models don't. This is something that you definitely need to stay tuned with us because it's still a little early, and as we move forward in time, we'll get better and better and higher resolution models that will hopefully give us a better handle on this situation. Next, our tropical outlook. As I said, we've got that tropical disturbance that is off the Atlantic coast right now. NHC is giving it an 80% chance of development into either a tropical depression or possibly tropical storm Faye, or subtropical storm, though that's just kind of meteorological nomenclature at that point. It really is not expected to affect us whatsoever here in Georgia. If it does form, it's basically going to move up the eastern seaboard there. And so really minimal to almost no impacts to Georgia would be expected even along the immediate coastlines. All right, last thing we'll look at is our 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And so this would be valid for July 14th to July 18th. Right now, what they're looking at is the potential for slightly below normal precipitation. So hopefully we should be drying out a little bit, which would be nice. It feels like we've had these pop-up thunderstorms around for quite some time now. However, the downside to that is they are predicting some above average temperatures to move into us with that. So these are just generic predictions. They don't necessarily apply to any given day or anything like that. They're just kind of over this general time period, we expect it to be um, slightly drier, and we're expecting it to be above average. Nothing specific beyond that. All right, so here's our highlights. Scattered thunderstorms, as we talked about, will continue in this summertime pattern, at least into early next week. We're monitoring for potential severe weather Saturday night and Sunday, but definitely need to stay tuned as it's not a slam dunk by any means. We've got heat indices that are going to be in the upper 90s to low 100s, so definitely keep that in mind over the weekend if you're going to be out and about. And we do have some tropical development possible off the Atlantic coast, but minimal to no impacts to Georgia. And that is our weekly weather briefing for this week. Thank you so much, everyone. If you need to contact us, feel free at the phone number listed there, or you can reach out to us on social media via Twitter, Facebook, etc. We definitely try to monitor those as best we can. So thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.